We are gathered together today to help one another accept and deal with issues that have been plaguing our building. Our goal today is to look at two of these issues and choose one that we will work collaboratively together on to find a solution. Together today, I implore you to actively listen to one another, present your ideas to one another, and be a leader in your breakout discussions. Be prepared for, as Teacher Leadership Exploratory Consortium states, clarifying, mediating, and identifying the needs of self and others in order to advance shared goals and professional learning. This is Catherine McBride, and I am presenting today Teacher Leadership Initiative. We are finding solutions for student poverty and administrative gaps. I want you to take a moment to look at this picture. Decide what it is that you see and how do you interpret it. So what meaning do you draw from this image? Let's have some shares. Yes, we have a cat with a lion's shadow, and I would agree we are seeing the power that resides within us. What I see when I look at this photo is teacher leaders. Our teacher leaders present as teachers, but the roles and responsibilities they take on make them leaders. And that is the power of the cat's shadow displaying as a lion. Our teacher leaders hold great power. Taking a brief look at our agenda for today, during this webinar, we will identify and address the issues, examine lack of administrative support through Teacher Leadership Domain 1, examine community poverty through Teacher Leadership Domain 6, conduct our first breakout discussion to determine which issue we will address today. We will then look at strategies, barriers, and we will hold another breakout discussion. Determining our action steps and the necessary resources will follow, and we will hold a final breakout discussion with references being shown at the end. Actions are hindering the growth of our building as an organization, and therefore are having a negative impact on the quality of care our students receive. How can we support our principal and other administration to create the changes we need? We have excellent teachers in our building who are considering leaving our district or teaching altogether, but we need to retain our teachers. Together, we promote in our building that we are a community and that the community outside of our building walls supports our work through donations, volunteering, and our parent-teacher group. Lack of administrative support has left these relations strained, and we must correct this before we lose our community feeling or support. Our faculty and staff are highly qualified professionals and paraprofessionals trusted to teach their content areas. The questioning or mistrust of our judgment is creating feelings of animosity, lack of faith, and lack of self-confidence in our teachers and staff. Next, we are looking at community poverty level. Our building, according to Mr. Stage, has a poverty rate of 61%. Poverty affects school culture as well as student learning. According to Formed Families 2022, in the US classroom of 30 students, on average, at least one student is adopted or in foster care, and more are in kinship families. We must utilize, according to Teacher Leadership Exploratory Consortium, improving our outreach and collaboration with families and community in order to make positive changes to the struggles our students face. Questions we must ask, research, and develop answers to include: what is our community culture? What are the diverse educational needs of families in the community? And when we analyze academics, attendance, and behavior, what does the data show us?
Poverty plays a huge role in education.
In your breakout discussion group, you will decide which issue we will focus on today by discussing how are these issues affecting student learning, which issue is more greatly affecting teachers currently, Which issue will have a greater impact? Will addressing one of these issues affect addressing the other? Returning from our breakout discussion, we have the results. Both issues are affecting student learning. A lack of administrative support is creating low morale, lack of teacher confidence in abilities, and endangerment of teacher retention. Student poverty affects student learning due to issues including hygiene, parental involvement, academic level, hunger, absenteeism, and emotional distress. Lack of administrative support is more greatly affecting teachers currently. Addressing lack of administrative support will have a more immediate and greater impact. We must build teacher confidence and enable them with power to assist the student poverty issue. Addressing a lack of administrative support will make it easier to address student poverty, but addressing student poverty first would not aid in addressing the lack of administrative support. Looking for strategies for solution. First, we must determine our goal, which is to enable greater teacher leadership that is efficient, trusted, and effective. Then collaborate on what current teacher leadership we have and what is or is not currently meeting our goal. Creating a coalition will be the next step. We need a group of teacher leaders willing to continue the momentum of this project after we leave here today. Today and in the future, research needs to be reviewed to determine how other schools have successfully implemented greater levels of teacher leadership in their school buildings. A plan for greater teacher leadership needs to be made. This plan should also include how we can foster a better relationship between our teachers, staff, and members of administration. Finally, the plan will be presented to administration. We must strengthen the relationships between administration and faculty because, as stated by Kian and Walker, a successful leader facilitates and supports mutually beneficial relationships with teachers, students, and other community members. They do this through displaying high levels of emotional competence, confidence, and empathy. We currently have, as barriers, disempowered teachers, which affects school climate because they feel their input is not valued or even wanted. So they feel like they cannot create necessary changes. When teachers feel they have tried but were put down and will always face the same results if they were to try making changes again, they lose their purpose and drive for improvement in the classroom. Sebastian, Allensworth, and Hong tell us that the central mediating organizational process that links both principal and teacher leadership to student achievement is the school learning climate. This constant reception of no changes allowed is also leaving teachers feeling confused about what their role is and what their responsibilities are. Experience has shown us that attempting to move change forward or not going along with an issue we know isn't right can result in consequences such as negative remarks on our reviews. Finally, the lack of administrative support up until this point makes it evident that we should also expect lack of support for changes to be a barrier as well. In your breakout discussions, you are going to be looking at additional strategies and additional barriers. You're being put into those groups now. And we're back. We have determined that further strategies for solving the issue include making the most of one another's strengths. Each teacher's uniqueness adds value to the group, ranging from personal experiences to personal knowledge. Teacher leadership compensation systems could be another means of motivation for the district to allow greater teacher leadership. Additional identifiable barriers include teachers' workload and time management. These two issues go hand in hand. Teachers carry a heavy workload already with creating lessons, materials, grading, parent communication, and everything else that they do. Making time for a project like this can be difficult and therefore slow down the progress of it. To determine our action steps, we follow Cotter's 8 steps for leading organizational change, as cited in Cooper, Stanulus, Brodink, Hamilton, Macaluso, and me. Our steps will include putting the goal of the group and tasks remaining in writing, determining who is in the coalition, setting a date for the next meeting, assigning roles for members with homework for the next meeting, and setting a deadline for the goal to be met. Our resources include several that will be necessary for teachers of this coalition. The greatest need will be time as a resource. For teachers, time is a difficult commodity to have enough of, as you all know. This group of teacher leaders will need time to complete their tasks before their next meeting, as well as time dedicated to the meetings of the coalition. This group will also need a space for holding meetings either within or outside of the school building. Most importantly, though, the teacher leaders will need each other as a resource for task completion, for shared knowledge, and for support. After all, as stated in Cooper et al., quoting Fairman and McKenzie, describe 9 activities in which teachers can influence instructional change, such as through collaborating with peers, for contributing to school improvement efforts. Further steps to take, looking at your last breakout discussion. Okay, additional steps would include a need for determining the value of the goal so that the teacher leaders stick to the plan to make it happen, as well as determining the impact this actualization of the goal could have on the school culture, so that if anyone needs to be prepared for changes, that preparation can begin while the teacher leaders are creating the plan that will be presented to administration. Teachers may also need to be prepared to bring in outside assistance, such as the school board, if administration is still unwilling to allow greater teacher leadership to occur. Additional necessary resources may include determining who will have time to take on the teacher leadership roles that will become available when the team successfully meets the goal. This determination should occur before the coalition reaches the goal. Professional development for teacher leadership would also be beneficial for faculty and staff members so that they have more confidence in their abilities. Here we have our references for this webinar today. I would like to take a moment to thank you all for joining us in this webinar.